Europe in 1945 was a continent in ruins. Cities lay in rubble, economies had collapsed, and millions of lives were lost to the horrors of the Second World War. National borders, once rigid symbols of power and identity, now seemed fragile and meaningless. Amid the devastation, leaders faced a stark choice: rebuild as isolated nations, or find a way to come together to ensure that war would never again engulf the continent. The idea of European unity was not born in 1945. Its roots stretch back decades, even centuries, with thinkers, diplomats, and politicians imagining a Europe bound not by conquest, but by cooperation. Visionaries like Richard Coudenhove-Kalergi, who proposed a pan-European movement in the 1920s, and Winston Churchill, who famously advocated a United States of Europe, laid intellectual groundwork for integration. Yet it was the horrors of war that made unity urgent, practical, and unavoidable. The first step toward cooperation came in the economic realm. Western Europe's leaders recognized that lasting peace required interdependence. Nations that traded together were less likely to go to war. In 1951, 6 countries, Belgium, France, Italy, Luxembourg, the Netherlands, and West Germany, signed the Treaty of Paris, establishing the European Coal and Steel Community. By pooling their coal and steel production, the industries that had fueled 2 world wars, these nations created a system in which conflict became economically disadvantageous. This strategy of gradual integration, often called the functionalist approach, proved effective. Shared economic interests built trust between nations that had once been enemies. Diplomacy was no longer abstract. It was measured in factories, railways, and trade agreements. The success of the coal and steel community laid the foundation for further cooperation, leading in 1957 to the Treaties of Rome, which created the European Economic Community and the European Atomic Energy Community. Yet integration was not universally embraced. Many citizens were skeptical, fearing loss of sovereignty or domination by larger nations. Political leaders had to balance national pride with the necessity of cooperation. Overcoming centuries of rivalry required patience, negotiation, and often compromise, but the promise of stability, economic growth, and peace kept the project alive. Before we continue, if you're fascinated by how Europe transformed from war-torn destruction to a united economic and political bloc, take a moment to like this video, share it with a friend, and comment below on which European country's story you find most remarkable. Don't forget to subscribe to @Looking Back in Time for more cinematic historical documentaries. The European Union's creation also reflected a new approach to diplomacy. Leaders like Robert Schuman and Jean Monnet championed incremental change. Schuman's 1950 declaration called for French and German coal and steel production to be jointly managed under a supranational authority. Monnet, an architect of European integration, believed that cooperation should grow step by step, from economic collaboration to political union. Their vision was pragmatic, cautious, and profoundly transformative. By the 1970s, the European project had expanded beyond the original 6 countries. Denmark, Ireland, and the United Kingdom joined in 1973, followed by Greece, Spain, and Portugal in the 1980s. Integration continued in the 1990s with the Maastricht Treaty, which formally created the European Union, establishing shared policies on trade, justice, and foreign affairs, and setting the stage for a common currency, the euro. The European Union stands as a testament to what is possible when nations prioritize collaboration over conflict. It transformed a continent historically defined by rivalry and war into a cooperative network where dialogue, law, and mutual interest hold sway. While challenges remain, from economic crises to political disagreements, the EU's origin story demonstrates that even in the aftermath of the most devastating conflicts, human ingenuity and vision can build enduring partnerships. Ultimately, the EU is more than a political or economic experiment. It is a symbol of reconciliation and hope, a living reminder that even the darkest chapters of history can lead to new beginnings. From the ashes of war, Europe found a path to peace, proving that collaboration, compromise, and shared purpose can reshape a continent forever.